In the comments on my last video, my Canadian friend Brennan asked me, what do you think about the $1.5 billion fine the European Union slapped on Intel? But before I get into how I think and feel about the matter, I'm going to take this moment to explain to some of you what this thing is all about. So obviously Intel was fined this $1.5 billion for doing something illegal in Europe. See, Intel was paying businesses through a rebate system to not sell or to prolong the sale of AMD products. Just to give you some perspective on the matter, Intel controls about 80% of the CPU market. AMD is their biggest worldwide competitor. Well, obviously the situation is a lot more complex than that, but I'm keeping it simple for the purpose of this vlog. Now, if you want more info, you can just go to google.com and search for EU fine Intel, and you'll get a wide variety of really awesome articles detailing the situation in detail. But back to Brendan's original question, I totally support what the EU is doing in this case. I mean, Intel is big enough of a company to not resort to illegal practices to sell their product. I mean, it's absurd that they would. And see, when you control that much of the market, it starts to sort of scare me, because that's dangerously getting really close to a monopoly or a trust of some form. And I mean, I definitely support trust busting, because monopolies are ultimately bad for the consumer. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Intel controlling that much of the CPU market. I'm not a fan of Microsoft controlling as much as they do of the operating systems market. I'm not even a fan of Electronic Arts for buying up all sorts of video game companies. Some of them small, some of them quite huge. It disturbs me. I'm also not a fan of how much crap Rupert Murdoch owns either. I mean, I don't like it when any business or firm or anything like that gets way too big, because then they become way too big to fail. And when you become too big to fail, the government won't let you fail. Thus, you're free to practice as many crappy business practices as you want, because you know that you'll get bailed out whenever the time comes. But getting back to the story at hand, the EU is seeking to enlist the help of the Obama administration, among many other nations, in their trust busting of dominant American businesses in tech markets such as Microsoft, Google, and Intel, obviously. And I sincerely hope the Obama administration supports the European Union in this, because these companies are committing crimes, and they deserve to be punished. But as always, DFTBA, YouTube.